everyone, welcome to the second episode of Live with the Millennial Nurse CEO with myself, Sibaba Tsutawan. I trust that you enjoyed the first video, and if you haven't gotten a chance to watch it, you can always go back, okay? Today I'm going to be sharing with you a subject, or sharing on a subject that is very close to my heart, and this is nurse and midwifery entrepreneurship. So I'm going to be taking you through my journey to becoming a nurse CEO, and I will tell you why I feel and believe that this is very important. Now, being a South African nurse who has studied in South Africa, who has worked and is currently still working in South Africa, I have gotten to understand that we are not taught, our curriculum does not cover nursing entrepreneurship. So what this means is we are taught about obviously the fundamentals of nursing and midwifery. We are also prepared to be employable, which is amazing. In these trying times, you really need to be employable. However, what is missing is the exposure or the understanding that it is possible for nurses to also go into business. Okay, and there's a number of reasons why this is so important. One being the fact that times are really tough, okay? And everyone across industries is talking about the importance of having multiple streams of income. And, petrol price, load shedding, you need a generator that needs petrol, and it's just a lot, okay? So this basically means that your one salary that you're getting at your place of employment can simply not be enough to cover all these increasing life expenses. And let's be honest, it's not under any millions. Honestly, nurses are not any millions. So honestly, if you want to live a decent life, if you want to live a life of financial freedom, then entrepreneurship is definitely the way to go, right? And the other reason is there are really people who are just born with the entrepreneurial spirit, people who want to lead businesses, start businesses, and create a legacy. And some of those people can actually be nurses, and that is more than okay, okay? That is more than okay. And I'm really emphasizing this because I feel like I'm preaching it to myself as well. Because being a nurse who has always loved, having a business, who has always loved entrepreneurship, I often felt like I did not belong in nursing, despite the fact that I was so passionate about serving, despite the fact that, I really love being a nurse midwife, okay? Because when I started businesses, or when I was advertising my businesses, I was always frowned upon. I was not, passionate enough, simply because I felt like my life could simply not start at the beginning of a shift and end at the end of a shift. I felt like I had, passions and desires that I wanted to explore outside the four walls of the hospital. And that has worked out really amazingly for me. And I want you to understand that I'm not taking away from the importance of employment, because I was working for a hospital once upon a time, and I'm still working for a university, so I'm just saying that I want nurses to be exposed to the limitless, I emphasize limitless opportunities that exist, or that come with having a nursing qualification. And the other thing is unemployment really affects us too. I mean, a couple of years back, we were made to believe that if you had a nursing qualification, then you were guaranteed employment. And unfortunately, that is not the case anymore. You have many nurses who have even, forcefully, or who have had to resort to working locums because there's simply not employment for them available, okay? So I'm just saying that I want us to really, understand the possibilities so that we can explore them, okay? So what I'm going to be doing today is to share my own journey about how I, went into business and how, that has worked out for me, or is continuing to work out, okay? And to really correct the misconception that, if you're a nurse, then you must be a nurse working in a hospital somewhere. If you're a business person, then, you are a business person. You can't be a nurse. Because I'm here to tell you that you can have it both ways. You can have it both ways, and it's pretty amazing. Right, so without any further waste of time, I'm going to be telling you where I started. So, the truth is, I was born into an entrepreneurial family. both my parents were, firm lovers of buying and selling, such that they also opened a shebeen. Okay, my parents were running a shebeen, which was, let me not lie to you, the hottest and hippest joint at the time. Okay, and this was before they, gave their lives over to Jesus Christ and decided to move away from the alcohol business. However, they still continued selling things. And let me tell you that in order to put me through university, and I think the latter years of high school as well, my parents had to sell their cows. So that also already speaks to the importance of investment. Okay, right. So, needless to say, having been exposed to entrepreneurship at such an early age, or having been born into it, I think it was just inevitable that I would also want to explore it for myself. So when I was in my first year of permanent employment, after I had completed my community service, I just wanted to make some extra bucks, okay? And I had just gotten married, and, I just enjoyed hosting people at my house. I loved, inviting people over, cooking for them, and just seeing their faces light up as I gave them food and all of that. And I decided, why not monetize this? And this was when my first business was actually born, and it is called thhis Kitchen. So thhis Kitchen was a fast food business which was located in a township in Bloemfontein, and we were serving township style food and African cuisine. But the twist was, we were actually cooking township and African cuisine and taking it into the suburbs and bringing delivery services that were previously only being provided in suburban areas into the locations or the townships. So I'm proud to say that at that time we were the first and only business that was providing delivery services all across Bloemfontein. So you had businesses that were providing delivery services for just the suburbs. You also had businesses that were providing delivery services just for the township. So we were bringing the whole Bloemfontein together, and it had its challenges. It was very challenging, I must say, but I also learned a great deal. I learned so much about business. I learned about, marketing. I learned about managing people, pricing. I learned about, pitching to clients. I learned about, always striving to deliver, excellence to your clients. And I also learned that might not always, work out that way. And I learned the importance of really, making it up to your clients, because the truth is you won't always be perfect, but the most important thing is, how do you correct your mistakes? So that's something that I've carried with me across my other businesses. And then, because it became so challenging and it was actually quite demanding, with increasing responsibilities, I decided to sort of step away from it for a bit. So it's only now providing catering services. So this means that the fast food side of things is at a pause for now. I'm still sort of trying to think if I want to proceed with it or if I want to rent out the place to someone else. And then the second business, which for me has actually been the most important, was pageantry. I know you didn't see that one coming, but pageantry. Pageantry, I learned, is actually a business. So I was involved, or I participated in Mrs. South Africa. And when I started, it just resonated with me because it was about married women reclaiming themselves, and married women who, were just doing amazing things and all about impacting communities and standing up for a specific cause. And with my passion for sexual reproductive health, I was like, this is a no-brainer for me. I'm all for it. But as soon as I was inside, I realized that there was a huge business side that I was not previously exposed to. So you had to pitch to sponsors. You had to, negotiate prices when you had to do like photo shoots and things. And you had to, I think pitching was really the most important thing. And branding as well, because you had to come to understand that you are a brand, and you had to, or I learned how to work on my personal brand through Mrs. South Africa. So that was really very important, and some of the skills that I learned from that pageant I'm using today in my other business, which I will get into just now. And the third business is through Mrs. South Africa. I learned, or I saw how many ladies, will have events that require those special glitzy outfits, and I honestly just love dressing up. And I had dresses that I had bought, but sometimes you'll buy a dress and then there's another event, and then you feel like, I don't want to wear the same dress, and then you keep buying the dresses. So that's what I did. And then I realized that there are many ladies that don't actually like buying those dresses. I mean, they also do attend such events, but they're like, I'm just gonna wear that dress once and all of that. So I decided to start my other business, which is Mrs. Lit's Closet. So it's basically like a dress rental business wherein we provide dresses for all occasions, whether it's weddings, it's gala dinners or hot days and everything in between. Just to make sure that you look very special for that special occasion without breaking the bank and without buying a garment that you're not going to use again. And then the absolute highlight of my business career has been running my organization, Black Women Arise Women's Health Foundation. I just want to take a pause of gratitude, because it is literally a dream come true for me. Like, it's literally, oh Lord Jesus, it's amazing. So this non-profit organization I started with the aim to create a platform for women to come together to share their sexual reproductive health experiences and journeys, because I felt like we are actually suffering from similar problems, but we are never comfortable to share those problems. And there is so much stigma around sexual reproductive health that many of us have problems that can easily be resolved by a consultation, but because of the stigma, we're even afraid to actually go to consult. In the first place, some of us, because we don't even know our bodies well enough, you don't even realize when something is wrong until it's very late. So I created this platform for women to share their stories, but more than anything, I also wanted to bridge the gap between women in the communities and healthcare professionals, because I was a woman in a disadvantaged community myself, who did not have medical aid or did not really have access to a gynecologist or private healthcare. And at the same time, I got to work as a healthcare professional in a consultation room or in a hospital. And I realized that most of the time we ask ourselves, why are women not booking for their antenatal care? Why are women not coming for their appointments? Why is this woman not, or only coming to the hospital when she is already at her last stage of cervical cancer, for example? And I realized that there are all these questions, but we rarely ever go into the community to understand what the dynamics are at grassroots level. So I wanted to provide that bridge, to ensure that at the end of the day, women are able to access quality sexual reproductive health care services, and the healthcare professionals are able to do their job. So we were able to secure funding, which allowed us to run our current project, which is promoting cervical cancer awareness in the Free State. So what we do in this project is we take cervical cancer screening services to women in disadvantaged communities. So we go with our own mobile clinic to provide these services to ensure that women are diagnosed at an early stage, to ensure that women are educated about what cervical cancer is and what the dangers are, what they can do to prevent themselves from getting cervical cancers, because the reality is there's no reason why women should still be dying from cervical cancers when it is indeed preventable. And in addition to that, we also provide training for professional nurses at primary healthcare levels to basically ensure that they provide quality services when it comes to cervical cancer screening for their patients. And another thing that we are also working on is to decentralize our pre-cancer treatment. Because you know what happens with cervical cancer screening is you can actually detect when a woman has precancerous cells. So these are cells that, if they're not removed, can actually turn into cancer. But if they're removed, then that woman will not get cancer. So the issue with this is that that treatment that needs to take place when a woman has precancerous cells, in our province or in our city, is being provided at a tertiary hospital level. So we are working together with the Department of Health to ensure that we take that service down to district level, which will of course decrease the waiting period for women to access these services, and basically to lessen the load at tertiary hospital level. So needless to say, this has been such a thrilling journey. It's been a testing journey, because you can just imagine moving from the labor ward to the boardroom has been such a big jump, because you get to learn so much, or in fact you get to do so much. I'm talking about things like stakeholders engagement, that engagement that has to lead to collaboration and partnership. I'm talking about funds management, because you are essentially being given other people's money, and those people at the end of the day want to see results. So working with other people's monies when you have never worked with finances in your entire life is something else, and having to manage people. In fact, before you even manage people, you have to recruit them. There are HR policies that you have to be acquainted with. You need to know how to manage people, how to build a safe and healthy work environment, monitoring and evaluation of projects, grant seeking, because obviously you need a sustainability plan to ensure that you always have funds, because now all of a sudden you are responsible for other people's lives, salaries, so you don't want a situation where God forbid a funder is unable to provide funds going forward, and you simply don't have a plan, and your work is seized. You don't want a situation like that. So you always have to be ahead of things and always thinking sustainability. So these are honestly not things that I have learned or I could have ever learned from nursing schools. So but nonetheless, I'm so grateful for the support that I've gotten. I'm grateful for my inquisitive mind and my teachable spirit, because I'm honestly grateful to be in a constant learning journey. And needless to say, this is just, I'm loving it. I'm loving it this side. I'm really loving it this side, and I would not trade it for anything. I honestly wouldn't, because I feel like my life's purpose is being fulfilled through this post or through this role. Getting to lead people while I impact my people. It's top tier kind of things, and it for me really speaks to the possibility of being an impactful nurse midwife outside of the four walls of the hospital, because a lot of the time we are often, I don't know, by intent or by default, led to believe that our impact is only limited to hospitals, and nothing could be further from the truth. I'm here to tell you that much. Okay, that we are, goodness, we are people with, we have passions, we have desires, we have hobbies that can be monetized. Okay, and why not? And the reason why I'm so passionate about sharing my own experiences is because as a nurse, as a midwife, when I was still finding my feet within my entrepreneurship, I was always frowned upon, and I was made to feel like I was being made to feel like I'm not like the nurse. I'm not like a nurse enough, because I believed that my life could not start at the beginning of a shift and end at the end of a shift. I felt like I had a life outside of that. I had things and desires outside of that, and I wanted to explore them. I was very unapologetic about that. But I think it was just because I was very resilient. Because if I wasn't, I would have just quit doing all those things. And let me tell you, I would have been very miserable. I would have been very miserable because this is what I'm called to do. So what I'm essentially trying to do with this particular video is to let nurses know that the possibilities are limitless. I look at nurses in America starting businesses that blow my mind, and I'm thinking, we need more of such in South Africa. We really need more of such. And I know it's not easy. Let me tell you, it's not easy, but it's possible. I mean, look at all the other professions. We've got doctors, we've got occupational therapists, physiotherapists, and like going into private practice for them is a no-brainer. But for us, even if you want to go into private practice, for example, it's not a process that everyone knows about. I mean, I was doing research on how to go into it at some point, and I struggled. I really struggled. And I also found that there were people even who, had started or were in private practice who did not even understand how it works. It's just something that you have to figure out as you go. You have to, do your research, ask questions, and do all of those things. But it's not something that we leave school knowing about, So this is me just saying the possibilities are there. If you feel like, bedside is really at your heart, I know there are people like that, and I admire them. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with loving bedside. We will always need someone to be at the bedside, with our patients and our loved ones in their moments of vulnerability. However, we need those people to really be people who want to be there, people who don't feel like they should be somewhere else, because that makes them miserable, and that makes them to take it out on those very people, like I said in my previous video. So we want happy nurses. We really want happy nurses and midwives, So this is me just saying, as nurses, let's go out there. The possibilities are there. I'm saying it, I think, for the 10th time now. The possibilities are there. Let's go out there. Let's explore them. Let's make money. Let's make money. There is nothing wrong with wanting to make money as a nurse. There is nothing wrong with wanting to make money as a midwife. You shouldn't be unethical about it. You shouldn't be so, you shouldn't want it so badly that honestly you won't stop at nothing to get it. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with wanting to live a good life. And unfortunately, a good life, shame, you need money to live it. You can't pay for a vacation with thank yous and hugs. You need money. You really need money. So this brings me to the end of my second episode on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please do subscribe, hit the notification button so that you are the first to know when I've got another video out. And until next time, keep well.